Willkommen, bienvenue, welcome once again to what we are liking to call Cut the Noise. I had to think for a second. What are we calling it? We're calling it Cut the Noise. And today is episode 4, the Marketing Detox. Funnels, hashtags, and all the other stuff you don't actually need. We do this every week. It's 11 o'clock on Tuesdays. Please try not to miss it because we'll be putting out some really useful information. So why are we here? Well, we're trying to snap you out of your busy but broke marketing mode. A lot of people do what I refer to as busy work, where they spend a lot of time chasing their tails, pressing a lot of buttons, putting out a lot of content, but in actual fact doesn't really get anywhere. And it's not down to the number of times or when or what or how, it's the content. So you've built a funnel. Everybody loves their funnels, added hashtags, and made up those freebies. And there's still relevance with all of that. But the trouble is you're still getting tumbleweeds. Now, if marketing feels exhausting, it's because you've been sold this idea that you've got to do a performance, but not actually a plan. So let's talk about how you achieve this marketing detox. I'm Gareth, she's Kirsty, and we're going to tell you what to ditch so you can actually grow. This episode's all about clearing out all those clever sounding tactics that don't actually move the needle at all. Let's strip your marketing right back to what actually works. Cool? All right.
Let's go.
I'm taking by the audience's profound silence that they're right in there with me. Okay, so let's talk about the trigger. We've all got sales pages and sequences and downloads and maybe a 17-step plan and something sanctified by the Dalai Lama, but none of it leads to leads. We don't seem to get any sales out of it. But I want you to calm down. I'm not pointing my finger at you. Well, maybe you, sir. You're not lazy. You're overloaded with strategies that were never built for you. And it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility because the buck does stop with you. So Kirsty's going to drop us some truth bombs.
I am indeed. So let's get to the part that usually makes people that feel a bit uncomfortable and go, oh no, that's not right. The truth bombs. Now, Don't panic. I'm not here to blow up your entire strategy, just the parts that are keeping you stuck. Think of it as a bit of tough luck with a cheeky reality sidekick that is going to make things work.
Cool.
So jump straight into it to truth 1. You don't need a funnel. You need a conversation. I know. Everyone bangs on about funnels. You've got people sketching out these giant diagrams with arrows and boxes and about 17 different landing pages. And yeah, all right, it might look impressive. And you could possibly frame it and put it on your office wall somewhere up there or up there. But it's not what builds trust, is it? No. The best funnel is still a human talking to another human. That's it. Right. That's the secret. So nobody wakes up and says, you know what I really want to do today is a 12-step nurture sequence and a downloadable checklist optimizing my morning routine. It doesn't happen. I never wake up and think that or say that. No. What people actually want is a connection and a genuine chat to feel like you get them. You know, if somebody picked up the phone to me and understood my pain points and understood me and the way I work and the way I live, more likely to work with them than somebody that sends me an email every day because I don't check my emails. Or somebody that wants me to push button A and then button Z and then button D and then button P just to get this download that is probably going to sit there and not get looked at.
By the way, hashtag morning coffee.
Hashtag morning coffee. Yes, that is very important. I need a coffee now, let alone in the mornings. So here's what works instead. Invite people to talk to you right there in your content. Say it. DM me if this works for you, or if my post means something to you. Drop me a message. Let's have a conversation about it. Or here's a link to book a call. Give somebody 15 minutes. What's 15 minutes of your time? It's the time that it takes you to drink a cup of coffee. Now, am I evil for saying that funnels don't work?
No, I think it needs to be called out.
Exactly. So what I want to say, though, is if you've already got one that works, fantastic. But if you're pouring all your energy into building one instead of actually talking to people, well, don't be surprised if nothing moves and if it doesn't actually work.
Okay, that's cool.
So truth two, hashtags aren't your problem. Now, this one always gets to me when people come up and go, Kirsty, I don't understand. I'm using all the hashtags right. I've got 30 of them all lined up, but my posts still aren't getting engagement. And you're laughing, Gareth, but it's true. Like, people think that because the limit's 30, they've got to use all 30. But how many times are you driving in a 30-mile-an-hour limit? It doesn't mean you've got to drive at 30. However, a little bit about me. I get frustrated at people driving 10 mile an hour in a 30 zone when the road's empty and clear. Move, get out of my way. But anyway, back to hashtags.
That's something more about Kirsty than it says about hashtags. But anyway, carry on.
Exactly. And I just have to laugh when people go on about hashtags. And not in a mean way of, oh, poor you. Like, because reality is hashtags don't build engagement, but your message does. So if you're relying on hashtags to get reach, it probably means your content is rubbish. It's a bit like putting lipstick on a pig, and sure, the pig looks fancy, but it's still a pig.
Still a pig.
It's still a pig. When what actually matters is your hook. You know that very first line that we spoke about a couple of episodes ago? The one that makes people stop scrolling and think, oh, hang on, I want to read more. I need to know more. You do not need 30 hashtags. The only thing a hashtag is good for, in my opinion, is when you're on Instagram, especially, and you think, I want to look at all things social media. And then thousands of posts comes up about social media. Or my favourite one is shoes. Type in your favourite brand of shoes onto Instagram and just look at all the thousands of pictures that come up. Get some really good ideas for that. But it's not going to get you engagement, and especially with us focusing on small to medium businesses,
right?
You're not going to get noticed by using hashtags because all the big businesses are out there. So they're a waste of time. Put 5 to 10, but not 30.
All right. What's the third truth bomb then?
So freebies won't save you. So this one might sting a bit because we've all done it, myself included. We sit there and go, you know what? I'm going to create that lead magnet. That'll solve everything. And we go off and we spend weeks putting together a beautiful PDF. It's got a cover, a content page, some nice graphics. And you could probably even sell it as a book, the amount of time and effort you put into it. But then you get crickets. A few downloads maybe, but not really anything. But if you haven't built a list, then you might as well be selling to ghosts. Because people probably download it, shove it in a folder, and never look at it again. You might be got their email address at best if you've done it the best way, but that's no relationship. So what was the point in giving that freebie out? It's a waste of breath.
A freebie, I think, is useful to say thank you for something. It's nice to give away once they've done it, but getting them there, you shouldn't be relying on the freebie. I think that is just silly. And as you say, most people just file it away somewhere and never look at it, and they might look at the first tip on it, and that's a lot.
Yeah, people that send out a freebie and then go, oh, I've collected all these email addresses, but then they just sit there, and I'm like, well, what's the point in that? If you haven't done anything with them email addresses, what was the point? So stop spending all your time in crafting the perfect download. Put that effort into writing a bold post that sparks those messages coming in, and something that makes people feel, I need to talk to that person. That's the magnet, rather than that freebie that you spent weeks creating. So there you have it. 3 truth bombs that might ruffle a few feathers. Funnels, hashtags and freebies. They aren't the villains, but they're definitely not the heroes either.
So funnels don't lead to sales necessarily. Hashtags don't lead to visibility, and freebies don't necessarily lead to connection. It's the humans that make the connection always, isn't it?
Exactly. And that was just what I was going to summarize. So first, funnels do not equal sales, hashtags do not equal visibility, and freebies definitely don't equal connections. And if it sounds clever but clunky, bin it. Honestly, most of the stuff we're told to do looks great on marketing diagrams and probably on that nice bit of A3 paper with your fancy felt tip pens looks brilliant. But in that real moment of running a business, it probably isn't going to work. So the pathway that you're going on isn't complicated. It just needs to be clear, it needs human, and then it will actually work.
All right, cool. Are you guys all with us so far? I mean, we're trying to drop these little bombs, but also give you ideas that really can buff up your approach to all of this. And in truth, although all the various different social medias are quite different, you can still start with the same kernel for them all. You know, the same basic piece of information. I mean, if you take it from LinkedIn and then move it to Instagram, you probably want to strip out most of the words, but they still have the same basic kernel. It's the same basic truth you're trying to put out to all of them. And what you need to do is get it in such a way that you're interacting with them, that you're creating communication and conversation, not that you're just giving them something they could stick on their fridge and forget. All right, let's
let me just add this bit about Twitter.
Okay.
Because, or X even, it's 280 characters, but that doesn't mean that your 5,000 words LinkedIn article, I don't like LinkedIn, that's his baby, not mine. Yeah, 5,000 word article, I'm sure you can find 280 characters, the bold punchy bits, and put it onto Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it these days. And it works.
It's so important that you take the ultimate of ultimate summaries of that, and that will become your Twitter bit that you put out there. I'm not a big fan of Twitter or X or whatever it's called these days. Now, I've got a little challenge for you. It's called the CTA and Listener Challenge. Call to action and listener challenge. I'm going to try and get you to detox your own strategy. Yes. And you can do it. I just need you to be utterly honest with yourselves. I want you to, first of all, look at what you're doing and list 3 things that aren't working. Be absolutely brutal. If it's email marketing, if it's Facebook advertising, if it's LinkedIn posting, maybe they're the 3 that aren't working. Now, I want you to do this, and this is going to be where it's troublesome, maybe. I want you to pause or bin one of them for 1 week. Just 1 week. Yes? So your focus is very much going to be, your message is simplify to amplify, because your next sale is hiding right underneath all that noise. And for extra push, tag us in your marketing detox. Or DM us what you're ditching. We might shout it out next week. All right. I'm going to give you a little teaser for next week's episode. I want you to watch out for it. It's going to be the myth of posting more. We've already mentioned that as a thing that may not be working. And why it's not helping you. The next week, we're going to be tackling one of the worst bits of advice out there, which is just post a bit more. No, you're just adding to the white noise. You're creating more fuss. So just watch out, because it's going to be the same time, same hats, Tuesday at 11 a.m. No fluff, just
all sorts
of hats. See you later. Bye.